Welcome to the Christian Atheist, episode 14 on ethics, part 1, the nature of human rationality. In the next few episodes of the Christian Atheist, I would like to explore the notion of ethics and what it can teach us about human nature and, hopefully, God and our relation to Him. I have a few expectations of where we may end up, but I want to explore the territory with you and see what we can discover. It has been an area of immense interest to me, both as a Christian and as an atheist. Almost none of what I say here is non-controversial. So, as always, I welcome challenge and discussion. First, we can note that ethics is unique to human beings. We don't expect animals to behave ethically, unless we are foolishly anthropomorphizing. Animals can't steal, or murder, or lie. Although we may be moral towards an animal, there is no corresponding moral concern or obligation in the opposite direction. No reciprocity. What, then, is the difference between animals and human beings that makes this moral distinction possible? The ancient Greeks, and in particular Aristotle, had a method of definition by which they would note first the broader class to which something belongs. We call this the genus. And then clarify what distinguishes what we are seeking to define from the others of its class. We call this the difference. This procedure then is called definition by genus and difference. The broad category of things to which human beings belong is animal, since we are not plants, the other division of living things. For the Greeks, what distinguishes humans from other animals is rationality. That is, human beings, according to the procedure of definition by genus and difference, are rational animals. We are, human beings, rational animals. What, though, does it mean to be rational? My understanding of this term is idiosyncratic, as I tend to pack everything that differentiates us from the animals into our rational nature. For instance, human emotion is different from animal emotion. It is much more highly diverse and extended, and far more mediated than the simple emotional states of animals. Though many tend to oppose emotion and reason, this is not a good understanding of human emotion, which is much more complex, structured, and filtered by rationality. More on this later, perhaps. I would like to propose that we think of human rationality as defined by three intertwining characteristics. Rationality, we shall say, is reflective, critical, and tendentious. Treating rationality by differentiating it into three terms allows us to separate out for analysis these intertwined tendencies. But in reality, all three combine inextricably to create human rationality. First, to be reflective means to step outside the immediacy of the causal chain of reaction instinct, to gain a perspective on our situation and on our self. Reflection means to no longer live simply in the moment. If we think of reflection in a mirror, we can view ourselves as an object in the world. The mirror distances our inner viewer from our outer being. We can even say that the ability to reflect is akin to the creation of a self. We human beings know ourselves as particular kinds of objects in a world of other objects because we are reflective. The ability to reflect, then, is the ability to be self-aware, to have a self, and to not be simply a connected series of experiences. The ability to be reflective, though, is itself founded upon our ability to be critical, The ability to adopt an attitude of negation in the face of what is. We say that reflection allows us to distance ourselves from our immediate situation, from our objective self. How is this possible? Animals live at the experiential level. When a dog looks in the mirror, he does not see himself, but a dog. He does not even know himself as a dog, cannot identify his experience of that object as a presentation of himself. In fact, the dog doesn't have a self. He lives at the level of positive experience only. Experience of objects. A connected chain of positive experience. In order to step out of that level, the dog would need the ability to be critical, to deny his positive experience. The distinction in language between subject and object is useful here. To be subjective is to experience, and what we experience is objective. So, in the sentence, I see a chair, I is the experiencing subject and chair is the object. Subjectivity is the seeing, and the objective is seen. In reflection, in order for the subject, the seeing, to see itself, it must become an object for the subject. That is, the subject must become its own object. How is this possible? First, the subject must deny its own experiential immediacy. Mirrors mediate between the experiencing subject and the reflected object, creating a perspectival distance. This mediation allows space for a denial of the immediacy of the subject-object duality. It is this moment of denial that animals seem unable to accomplish. The subject must deny its subjectivity in order that it may see itself as a new kind of object, a subject object, that is, a person, a subject with a self. This is the I and the me of language. To be critical is to have this ability to negate. Animals do not negate. Their experience is positive only. Self-consciousness is a natural revolution founded on this ability to negate and is almost exclusively human. In this way, we find that human self-consciousness is bound to our rational nature through our ability to critically confront our experience, reflect on it as a subject, as a self in an objective situation. There is yet one piece missing from this puzzle. What is it that motivates this critico-reflective act? Let us suppose we are thirsty and standing in front of a dirty puddle. A dog in this situation, having an impulse to drink in the presence of a water source, will drink. His instincts will guide him to do so. Why don't we do the same? Reflection creates a distance between the immediacy of our thirst and our self, the objective subject, allowing us to deny our natural impulse to drink here and now. This critical stance on the situation is, however, a tendentious negation. It is purposely taking us somewhere. We say no to a situation, reflect on it, in order to alter it, or better understand it. The critical reflection that makes this distance possible is motivated by the problem of the thirst in an objective situation. It is now possible for us to combine these three tendencies into a unitary response to our experience. By being self-conscious, that is, reflective, and refusing to simply accept what our situation gives us, in this case, dirty water, and a natural impulse to drink, we are now presenting and framing our world in a brand new way. What is present to us is negated, our ability to be critical, in favor of something else, a project, a possible. And this is the moment of tendentiousness. We oppose, that is, what is present to a future. And a future is a possible that is not in the present, but may be. In practical terms, we refuse to drink from the dirty puddle because we'll get a drink at home or at the convenience store down the street. These are not options open to a dog. In the presence of water, with the impulse to drink, they simply react to the situation and drink the water. By giving ourselves space to evaluate our present as problematic, which is founded upon our critical ability, we can also project a future in which various possible solutions can be realized. It is nearly impossible to overstate the earth-shattering revolution in thought that this moment brings to us. It is rationality that temporalizes our experience, creates a self with a past. Memory results from self-conscious experience, a present and a future. It is an objective self that brings all three dimensions of time to our consciousness. The future is the result of a projected self, a self that is not in the present, but may be, will be in the future. This is a tendentious reaching forward toward a solution in the future that is not present, but is possible as a future. Time consciousness is another of those elements of human rationality that makes us unique. Animals exist in the present only. And even here we are anthropomorphizing, as animals do not know the present as present in a temporal consciousness. They have no sense of past or future. Presence and place are simply the positive canvas on which all their experience unfolds. This time consciousness is both a blessing and a curse for human beings, as it also allows us to be conscious of our own mortality, allows us to envision a time in which we will not be, in which we are not. That is, to envision our own deaths. It is also the moment in which we can begin to manipulate our world much more systematically than ever before, since we can project into the future all sorts of solutions that were never present to us in the here and now, since we have now been given an indeterminate plane of existence, the future, that we can work to realize as a project self. One more important way to understand this notion of human rationality is the unique ability of human beings to question. As long as our lives, as long as one lives exclusively in the stream of experience, as animals do, we simply react to the positive realities presented to us in that stream. It is only when we can stand in the midst of that stream and reject, that is, deny or be critical of what is positively given to us here in the present, that we can open up the realm of the question. If one summer morning you awaken to your lawn covered with snow as you let your dog out to pee, there are two very different reactions to that snow on your lawn. Your dog simply goes out into the snow, does his business as usual, and returns to the house. You, however, are troubled by the presence of snow in the summer. Why? You're struck by the notion that there should not, the critical moment, be snow at this time of the year. Time consciousness. You question what is, because what you are experiencing does not line up with what you expect experience to give you. This is tendentiousness. All of this unfolds because as a reflective being, you have sufficient space between yourself as experiencing and your objective situation as a being in the midst of a context of being, a framed world of expectations. Animals do not question. This, too, is a uniquely human capacity and is of tremendous importance to our being in the world. The ability to question what is, to look for what may be, what should be, to compare one positive experience with another, or to our own expectations. This is the very sum and substance of human rationality. All of this I present as a prelude to our discussion on ethics, as ethics, too, is one of those elements of reality that comes inextricably along with human rationality. It is because we are beings who live extended in time that we can be ethical beings, since ethics implies an obligation to act in a particular way. An obligation implies the sort of continuity in subjective experience that only a self-conscious being that exists in all three temporal dimensions can have. In order to be responsible for one's actions, one must possess a past, a self-conscious experience of having acted, a present from which to take a perspective on one's past, one's actions, and a future in which one may bear consequences for those actions. Ethics, that is a function of human rationality. And this explains why animals must stand forever outside the ethical realm. We can act ethically towards animals, but animals can never return the favor, as they are incapable of either being held accountable for their own actions, or even of being able to act in any other manner than that which their own natures dictate. An animal cannot enter into a contract, make or keep a promise, break or keep a law. All of these things require human consciousness, awareness of self, and temporal extension. Next week, I hope to build on this foundation my own understanding of the ethical status of human beings. Thank you for listening this week. I welcome your comments and criticisms of what I say here, and I would love the opportunity to expand upon and defend my positions. Please comment, critique, and unload below. If this is the first Christian Atheist episode you've watched, please subscribe to be sure not to miss upcoming episodes. Past episodes are available on our YouTube page, and we'd love to have you as a member of our community. First, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and let us know what you'd like to hear from us by commenting. Wise Words for Your Occasion is located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, but we're willing to travel. For inquiries or to book an occasion, go to wisewordsforyouroccasion.wordpress.com or see us on Facebook or check out our YouTube channel. You'll find links to all three in this post.